Alright, this is Demon 6, and I'm going to explain and show you how to make a mask. I'll try my best to show you every step as I do it. Okay, I'm not really going to bother explaining my design at the moment. I'll just explain it in detail at the end when I finish the mask. I know it's kind of backwards, but just what I'm used to doing. So let's get started. Also, this is the type of clay I'll be using, JollyKing Plastilina. It's easy to use. That's about it. Okay, now I know sculpting is hard. The hardest part is placing even amounts of clay, but I have a way that takes care of that for you. It's called the dot technique. Basically, you take a small piece of clay and roll it into a ball. Then you keep going around the, what's it called? The armature and the rings, until you completely cover the armature. I know it will look funny, but trust me, I searched and saw a lot of techniques for sculpting, and this is the one I like the best because it's easy to do. I will never try to show you something that you would need a master level skill to do. Trust me when I say this is the easiest and simplest way of doing things. Well, as you can see from the video of me doing this, it is pretty simple. All you have to do is just keep trying to match the ball you're making at the moment to the one you just placed onto the armature. Okay, so I'll let this part of the clip finish, and I'll play a little music. Yeah, expect metal. And once this part is done, I'll show you how to set up the eyes. Okay, let's get started on one of the most important parts of the mask, the eyes. Now I do things a little differently from most people. They mostly sculpt the eyes, thus it's almost impossible to get both eyes to look exactly the same. So this is how I do it. First, I flatten a piece of clay, like on the screen, then I measure the eye on the armature, and make two dots, one where the eye starts and one where it ends. Next, I look at my design, and using a tool, I trace it out. After that, I simply cut it with a clay knife. Then comes the important part. Cut around the cutout eye hole, leave about 1/4 of an inch. Then, to make a second eye, take the piece you cut out and simply place it on another thin piece of clay and trace it. And that's it. Simple, it works, and the eye should look exactly the same. Then place it on your armature. And ta-da, there you have it. Two eyes, look the same, they work. Pretty much no sculpting required, just cutting. Now what we have to do is fill it in, and you'll see me doing that in the next clip. Alright, now here's the thing. My design only really has one eye. So what that means is, I get to scrap the other one and use that to make more dots. So what you have to do is place the eye on the armature, and just keep filling it in. As you can see, all I have left on mine is the nose, and the lips, and just under the eyes. And now, more music. Now then, as you can see, my armature is pretty much completely filled with clay, and we're on to the next step. Start smudging it. Now here's the thing. Since the dots are kind of thick, you want to really push down to thin out your mask. Be careful around the eyes, because as you smudge around them, clay will start to fill in the hole. So you have to keep going in there and like putting more space, or else you're going to be pretty much blind while wearing this thing. So aside from that, just keep smudging. Be very careful around the edges. The dots do have a tendency to kind of pop out, in which case, just push them back in and keep smudging. And that's about it. Just keep doing that until you're done. Then we'll go on to the next step, which is smoothing. Without that, your mask will look ripply, kind of crappy, and no one will want to wear it. So, until then, more music. Okay, maybe a different song. Okay, now as you can see, the smudging's finished, the whole armature is covered. Now we're going to the next step. Okay, this is the next step. Now that we're done smudging it, we're going to smoothen it out so it looks nice and clean. Some people use a tool or their thumbs. I'm using the damp sponge using warm water. It shouldn't have any problems with the Plastilina, since that's an oil-based clay. It won't cause it to harden or anything. So it should work out alright. Also, don't use a soaking wet sponge. Just dip part of the sponge in the water and squeeze the excess out. You don't want to let any of the water get underneath the clay and touching the armature. So make sure you wring it out pretty well. You just want it to be just a little bit wet to the touch. As you can see from the video, my clay is not soaking wet. And in case you're wondering what that brush is being used for, since my sponge was used with a bunch of different clays, it does leave some shreds of other clay. The brush is just to get rid of that. So the brush isn't something you need if you're using a new sponge. Great, 13 seconds to the next clip. Okay, I don't feel like playing more music. Let's see if I can end this up without more music. Let's see. No, smoothing, more smoothing. Oh, it's nice and shiny, some brush work. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Now, as you can see, the smoothing is done. The clay is no longer shiny because I put so little water on it. Dried pretty quick. And now on to the final part, design work. Alright, unfortunately, YouTube only allows 10-minute videos, so you'll have to look forward to a part 2, which will be on the way soon. So that will contain design work, and probably go on to making a mold. So look forward to that. I'll see you next time.